Cozy Heart. A My Little Pony fanfic by StarThief. Chapter 8. The Newspaper and a Fashionable Visit. The streets of Ponyville were bathed in the warm light of morning as a few birds began their sweet dawn chorus. Little colts and fillies trotted through town, leaving newspapers on doorsteps. One of them even left a paper in front of the wagon of Trixie the magician, guidance counselor at the School of Friendship. Though she was on vacation now, like the rest of the teachers and students, she was already awake. So as soon as she heard the light thump of the paper at the door, she hurried out to check. The foals kept delivering until one of them stopped at the Carousel Boutique where, just like at the wagon, Rarity quickly came out to receive the paper. She greeted the little pony with a smile as he trotted off to continue his route, then levitated the newspaper with her horn and went back inside. "Sweetie Belle, come to breakfast, darling," the unicorn called from the stairs, hoping her younger sister was already awake. But Sweetie Belle was still asleep. She barely heard her sisters shout and pulled the sheets over her head. Meanwhile, Rarity walked to the kitchen, switched on the coffee maker, and then started cooking breakfast, not without first setting the newspaper down on the table. A little later she finished at last and served 2 plates, then 2 cups. Just hot water, since Sweetie Belle preferred tea to coffee. After that, she stepped back to the stairs and shouted again, "Sweetie Belle, breakfast! Quickly!" MGH, the young unicorn opened her eyes, threw off the covers, and stretched. Yeah, breakfast. Sweetie Belle. Ah. Why yes. I heard you already. Sweetie Belle answered, getting out of bed only to flop onto the floor, still groggy. Rarity returned to the kitchen, sat down to prepare her coffee, and began to eat. At the same time she used her horn to unfold the paper and start reading. Well, she murmured, seeing the seasonal fashion news. Especially the articles talking about her boutique in Canterlot. While she read, her white cat, Opal, padded into the kitchen. She meowed at the white unicorn. Rarity looked over, stood, and served a bowl of milk and another of food. "Here you are, sweetheart." "Good morning," she said, then sat down again and kept reading. "Good morning," Sweetie Belle said as she came into the kitchen and sat at the table with her sister to start making her tea. "You've been sleeping a lot more lately, dear," said Rarity. "Oh, well, vacation's started and I don't have to get up early to meet the others at the School of Friendship. It's more work than I expected, but I'm glad I can help Starlight at the school." Hee, Sweetie Belle replied. Rarity only smiled and nodded, then kept reading. "Oh, look at this. Twilight was at an orphanage yesterday. It looks like she funded the renovation. She's so sweet and generous. Such a good princess. Though of course, she learned generosity from moi," she added in a joking tone, took a sip of coffee, and kept reading. "Yeah. I can't wait for her to come to Ponyville. We all miss her. Pinky won't stop talking about her visit, and Applejack and Apple Bloom told me they're going to make her really tasty." Sweetie Belle was abruptly cut off by a strong spray of coffee to the face. Luckily it wasn't too hot. Even so, it was gross. Since it came from Rarity, who had just spat out her coffee. "Hey! Gross! What is?" Rarity quickly flipped the paper around to show her a headline. Below the article about Twilight there was a photo of Flurry Heart alongside Cozy Glow, both smiling and holding hooves. Though Cozy wore a distinctly nervous expression and a blush on her cheeks. "Yeah. That's Flurry Heart. In her last letter Twilight mentioned she'd spend her vacation with her, which means she'll be coming to Ponyville too. I don't see why you." "That's not it, Dear! That outfit her companion is wearing. It's one of my designs, but not just any. It's exclusive to members of Fancy Pants' society. What are you talking about? That dress is for sale here too, Sweetie Belle replied. The hat isn't. Besides, that Pegasus is very pretty. Just look at those curls. That means she's important enough to be wearing something Fancy has access to, Rarity said while passing Sweetie Belle a dish towel. Thanks. But, it's odd. Fancy never makes wardrobe decisions like that without notifying me. Even for new members, he asks me to come personally so I can tailor the outfits myself. Something strange is going on. Oh, it's just a very similar design and the Pegasus thought it'd be cute to wear it for the occasion. I mean, it's a charity event with the Princess of Friendship and the Crystal Princess. Even you go crazy over your clothes when you're just going out to buy bread, Sweetie Belle said with a serious look. What grabs my attention most is the headline. The young Crystal Princess with a pretty, mysterious companion, holding hooves. Titles like that just invite gossip and rumors. Look who's talking, Rarity said. What happened with Gabby Gums was when I was a filly. Get over it. Sweetie Belle said, blushing. He. Whatever the case, something odd is going on, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Don't you think you're just being nosy? Not at all, Sweetie Belle. I need to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to see Fancy Pants for answers, and I can see Twilight while I'm at it, he. You're going to see Twilight? Can I come? Sweetie Belle asked, smiling. I'm afraid I need you to mind the shop and receive Yona and Sandbar, he. But I'll bring you a lovely souvenir, Rarity said, punctuating it with a gentle pat on her little sister's head. Sweetie Belle just scowled and kept eating. Great. Have fun in Canterlot, seeing Twilight and Flurry Heart, who I haven't seen in ages. Have a wonderful day while I take care of the boutique with Sandbar and Yona, she said sarcastically. Thank you so much, little sister. You're wonderful, Rarity replied, missing the sarcasm. Then she went to pack some bags to catch the next train. Meanwhile, in the Canterlot Castle, Flurry began to open her eyes. She heard the birdsong and a ray of sun warmed her face, which helped her wake. She blinked for a few seconds to clear her vision and saw Cozy in front of her, still asleep, still with yesterday's hairstyle. Only a bit more mussed from the bed and a night of fidgeting in her sleep. Flurry smiled softly, with a faint blush. She stood, stretched a little, climbed out of bed, and walked to her wardrobe. I wonder what today's punishment will be. Everything aches from hauling and moving boxes. I'd rather be sore from playing with the kids, Flurry whispered, then glanced back at Cozy, still sleeping. I bet she'll feel the same when she wakes up. After all, I had to carry her to bed last night. She looked toward the window, but her attention shifted quickly to the door at the sound of a knock. She moved to it and cracked it open. Oh, Your Highness, forgive me, but your aunt requests both of you in the dining room. Breakfast is getting cold, a guard said from the hall. Flurry glanced at the clock in her room. Wow! We overslept. All right. We'll be right there, he. Thanks for letting me know. She shut the door, hurried to Cozy, and gently jostled her. Hey. PSSST. MGH. 5 more minutes, please, Cozy mumbled, half asleep and barely hearing Flurry. There are no more 5 minutes. We have to go to breakfast, Flurry said, shaking her a little harder, but only managed to make Cozy roll toward her. Still asleep. Cozy faced her again, and Flurry's cheeks warmed a bit. Those curls really did suit her. But it wasn't just that. Maybe the sudden close-up, or her sleeping expression. Whatever it was, Flurry found herself staring, dazed for a few seconds. Ah! Come on, Cozy! Flurry kept looking at her, trying to think how to wake her. The safest option was to keep shaking, but for a moment, she remembered the story of the sleeping unicorn who was awakened by a kiss. Ha! Flurry let out a nervous, embarrassed laugh and blushed more deeply. That idea was ridiculous, and she wouldn't dare try it, so she simply set her hooves at Cozy's waist and shook firmly. Wake up! Meanwhile, Spike and Twilight were having breakfast while they waited for Cozy and Flurry. Twilight glanced at the newspaper on the table, but left it rolled up as she continued eating. Aren't you going to read it? Spike asked. No. Not while I'm eating. I could get grease on it and that's gross. But we're not eating anything greasy and you're levitating your spoon, Spike said, incredulous. Ha! I just don't like reading while I. Princess, came a familiar voice from the door as it swung open. It was Fancy Pants, trotting in at speed with a worried expression on his face. Fancy? Is everything all right? Did something happen with, you know what? Twilight asked, now concerned. No. The preparations for you know what are on schedule and in order. Something far more serious has happened, the unicorn said. Then he quickly levitated the newspaper and showed her the article about the orphanage. Princess Twilight, blah blah, children, blah blah. Oh, look how cute all those little ones look in the pic. The other thing, Fancy said. The young crystal princess with a pretty, mysterious companion, holding hooves. It's just a rather imprudent headline. I don't see the need to stress that my niece held someone's hoof. I could hold your hoof without issue. Besides, it would be a problem if they had recognized Cozy. Which they didn't. Your wardrobe was a total success. Fancy, relax, you did well. Thank you very much. The photo. It's just Cozy and Fleur. The hat. I can't believe she wore an exclusive design Miss Rarity made for my society here in Canterlot. It's unacceptable on my part and disrespectful to the lovely Rarity. Hey! Spike said. But the hat looked so good when we tried it on the young Pegasus that I couldn't help using it. Just as you said. I did well, Fancy added. But, what's the problem? That whenever I use or need anything related to those designs, I always speak with Miss Rarity. She'll see this newspaper and then there'll be trouble. A misunderstanding. She could think I don't value her beautiful work, but it's quite the opposite. It's clever, bold, revealing, revolutionary, and gorgeous, just like her, said Fancy. I can hear you. Spike said, a little jealous. Twilight just laughed at both of them, then nodded. None of that. It's very simple and done without ill intent. Rarity will understand. There won't be any problem. You'll see. It's not like she's going to come looking for you right here and today. Relax, Fancy. You did a great job yesterday. No one recognized Cozy Glow, and I appreciate that. Good morning, Cozy and Flurry said as they entered the dining room. Flurry wore her usual smile, while Cozy wobbled a little with sleep, her mane a disaster. Miss Glow, if you wore that hairstyle permanently, Allow me to recommend you care for it. Please, Fancy said with mild indignation, then took his leave. No, I just, no. Let me take a bath and I'll fix it like always. I don't know. I think it's cute. Still, it is strange to see you without your ribbon and your usual curls, Flurry said, giving Cozy a playful nudge on the shoulder. Ha! Thanks, Cozy replied. Anyway, Auntie of Flurry said as she sat beside Cozy to eat. What's today's punishment? Oh. I didn't actually plan one for today, so you'll have the day off. Also, both of you have improved a lot. Congratulations, Twilight said. I wanted the two of them to clean the School of Magic while it's empty, but I insisted you let them rest, Spike said with a grin. Ha! Yes. They'll do that, at the end of the summer. It's still too soon, Twilight said with a touch of embarrassment. All right. Eat, and then, rest. You've earned it, okay? Cozy and Flurry exchanged smiles and nodded to Twilight. Hearing that brought them a sense of calm, and they began to eat. So, Sugar Cream, have you seen the paper? Looks like you're Flurry's pretty companion, Twilight said with a teasing lilt. Cozy started slightly when Twilight called her Sugar Cream, then quickly looked over. Only to blush at the comment. Yeah. Really? Flurry said with a smile, as if it were nothing. She used her horn to draw the newspaper over and read until she found the photos from the day before. It's true, Cozy. Look, they say you're my pretty, mysterious companion. Cozy blushed even harder at Flurry's words, especially at the tone she used. Hey. At least it's good to know Fancy's outfit worked and no one recognized you. Instead, they think you're my mysterious companion, whose hoof I was holding, she finished, half coquettish, half teasing. Stop. It's not funny. Besides, us holding hooves is nothing. That's just the headline. It doesn't start a rumor. Oh, it does start a rumor. Let me read it to you. It says, "The lovely Crystal Princess." Oh my. Thank you. Yes, I know I'm lovely. Anyway, ahem. The lovely Crystal Princess accompanied her aunt, Princess Twilight, to the inauguration of the orphanage's renovation. What drew the most attention was that she arrived with a beautiful Pegasus, very well turned out in a fashionable dress from Miss Rarity's boutiques and a hat seen only in Canterlot's high society. And the pair were also seen holding hooves and, according to our reporters on site, displayed a very close demeanor. What does it mean? A friendship? Or something more? Well, the paper hardly draws attention with this kind of item. They'll find something new for tomorrow and... poof! Rumor gone. Trust me. When you're a princess they make up rumors about everything, Twilight said with a faint smile. While Flurry laughed it off and stayed calm, blushing a little at the paper's not-so-subtle insinuation of a relationship between her and Cozy. She mostly shared Twilight's view that it would blow over quickly. Cozy, however, was completely flushed. She kept eating to dodge the topic, but she couldn't think straight. Her and Flurry in a relationship. The paper didn't say it explicitly, much less romantically, but it still hinted at it. Just thinking about it made her blush more and more, even starting to imagine scenarios a bit out of context in her head. Well, since we have the day off today, I was wondering if you might like to visit the library again with me. But I was also wondering, what would you like to do? Take advantage. We don't have duties today, Flurry said, changing the subject. To her, it wasn't a big deal. Cozy took a moment to answer. She just shook her head and looked at Flurry, a bit nervous. Well, Cozy glanced toward the windows as she tried to think of something to do in the castle. It was difficult. She didn't know the whole castle by heart. She didn't know what there was to do, and the presence of guards wouldn't let her do much either. Well, I have no idea. Oh. Well, we'll think of summit. Your Highness, a guard said as he entered the dining room. You have a visitor. Twilight was a little surprised. She hadn't scheduled any visits for that day. In fact, she didn't have many duties. Just a meeting about the city's tourism and local economy. Well, I suppose I have time. Show her in. I'll see her in the throne room when You heard him. You may let me in, dear, said a white unicorn as she stepped into the dining room. Twilight's eyes widened with surprise at once. That signature, elegant gait, that pristine white, that voice, the perfectly groomed mane, the long, lovely lashes. And, most striking when Twilight saw her, her cutie mark. Twilight's eyes sparkled with excitement and she rose from her seat quickly. Cozy could have sworn she saw her give a tiny hop of joy once she hit the floor. Rarity, Twilight said with a smile. Twilight. Rarity answered, hurrying over to hug her friend tightly. Oh, darling. You're taller. You're starting to look like Celestia. You look divine. Oh, Rarity, Twilight said with a smile and a faint blush. What brings you to Canterlot? I thought you'd be busy in Ponyville. After all, it's a rather hectic season, and I was going to Ponyville in a few days. Rarity set a hoof to Twilight's mouth and smiled. Well, an urgent matter brought me here, but don't worry. I left Carousel Boutique in good hooves. Besides, seeing you is always such a pleasure for me and the others. Though Rainbow Dash, being captain of the Wonderbolts, is the one who sees you most, and she won't stop bragging about it, Rarity replied. Oh, wow. Yes. In fact, I saw her recently, and Fluttershy and Discord. Oh, yes. Fluttershy told me everything, Rarity said. Twilight tensed for a moment and asked, everything? How much is everything? She darted her eyes to Cozy and Flurry, then back to Rarity. Oh, just what you did. Discord wanted to play a prank on you, so that's why you went for her. Nothing more. Rarity's answer relaxed both Twilight and Cozy and Flurry, who all let out a relieved breath. Cozy and Flurry watched the moment, along with Spike, who hadn't noticed he was grinning like a fool at seeing the white unicorn chatting with Twilight. Oh yes, how could I forget? Pardon me. But you're here too, my Spiky Wikey, Rarity said, going to hug Spike. I missed you in Ponyville when you came back here, but it's so good to see you again. Why yeah, same here, Rarity, Spike replied, cheeks burning. And of course, Flurry. It's so good to see you. Look at you, dear, you're enormous. The last time I saw you, you were a little filly. Now look at you, a young lady, Rarity said, then turned her gaze to Cozy, who was the most nervous pony in the room. Oh, yes. Good to see her too, Flurry said, a bit nervous herself, having noticed Rarity's look toward Cozy. How are the others? I heard Pinky is. You look familiar to me, Rarity said, eyeing Cozy. At that, Cozy grew even more nervous and swallowed hard. My name is Sugar Cream. I came to visit C. Canterlot and AAA. Yes. You're the one in the paper. The reason I came. Everyone in the room swallowed when they heard Rarity. Rarity, let me explain, please, Twilight said. No. I want to hear it from her, Rarity replied. Cozy swallowed again as she began to sweat harder. She even started to tremble a little while Rarity approached with a gaze that seemed to see every corner of her. Even her soul. Yes. Of course, even though your mane is a total mess right now, I still recognize you. You wore an exclusive hat for members of Fancy Society, and I want to know, where is he? Whenever he needs anything, he calls me to personally make the new garments. But I never made anything for you. Even so, that hat looked beautiful on you. How? Twilight quickly remembered Fancy's earlier dramatics and lowered her head slightly. Now he didn't sound like a raving drama pony. Rarity had genuinely taken the matter of Cozy's hat personally. Well, it was loaned to me. As you can see, I don't have it anymore. It was an emergency. I need. Rarity quickly recovered her composure. She could accept the excuse, but she hadn't rushed here just for that. She was ready to seek out Fancy now. That was, until she moved forward and finally caught sight of the Pegasus's flank. Oh, Flurry murmured. Rarity saw the Pegasus's cutie mark. Her mind raced through places she might have seen it before. It took a moment, but the memory came. As it surfaced, she quickly stepped back and looked at Twilight and Flurry in fright. But, it can't be her, see can it? Rarity whispered. Darling, I cannot faint without my fainting co. Before she could finish, she swooned, but Spike darted forward and caught her. Rarity, the dragon cried, worried. By Celestia. It's over. She knows I'm me. I'm finished. Cozy said in a panic, trembling harder. Cozy, Flurry hurried to her side and gently took her hoof, just as she had the day before. Look at me. Breathe. It's not that bad. When she wakes up, we'll explain everything. Besides, look at you. You're not the same Cozy glow from 17 years ago. Cozy looked at her, still very nervous, but Flurry's words slowly calmed her. I am not. Of course not. Look at you. You're so much better than the Cozy from 17 years ago. You're kinder. You've made great progress in just a few days. Imagine where you'll be soon. You're amazing, Flurry said, and with her other hoof, she stroked Cozy's cheek. Cozy exhaled and finally let out a sigh, followed by a tear that fell against Flurry's hoof. Cozy still clung to her plans for revenge. Earn enough trust and strike when the opportunity came. Plan every detail, down to the smallest. But when she heard Flurry say all that, something inside her was truly touched. Something heard and felt a deep calm. Almost like a hug. A pressure stirred in her chest, even more when Flurry mentioned she wasn't the same Cozy as 17 years ago. Was she right? Despite the short time since her release, had Cozy changed? Was something really happening, or was she just clinging to the plan? When she felt Flurry's hoof caress her cheek, she finally relaxed and breathed out that sigh, the tear tapping Flurry's hoof before being gently wiped away. Listen to me, we'll explain everything, and you'll be okay, all right. Flurry, Cozy said, eyes brimming. Yes? Cozy. I don't want to be stone again. I don't, she said at last, letting more tears fall. Flurry was a little startled by Cozy's plea. Being discovered ahead of schedule might truly be dangerous, but especially for Cozy. Flurry knew other ponies hated her. She'd seen how Cozy was treated in the castle. She understood that fear. Cozy. Flurry pulled her close and hugged her. The same kind of hug as when they had been alone in the library. Cozy hugged back, a little tightly. I won't let that happen, okay? We'll try. No matter what. I know you can be better. I brought you back for a reason. I have faith in you. I know you can do it. Everything will be fine, okay? Flurry whispered kindly, close to Cozy's ear. Cozy listened closely. The pressure in her chest returned, but this time it eased more quickly under Flurry's embrace and words. She said nothing, just kept hugging her. Twilight felt a small lump in her throat at the sight. She sighed, then looked to Spike, who was still holding Rarity. Spike, take Rarity to my room, please. I'll cancel my meeting for today. We'll wait for her to wake up and clear everything up. Cozy, Flurry, you may go. I'll call you when she wakes. Both of you, keep calm, all right? Twilight said, turning to them with a small smile. Just trying to project reassurance. Flurry and Cozy pulled apart a little and nodded. I need a bath, Cozy said. All right, let's go. We'll find your ribbons so you can fix your mane the way you like, okay? Flurry replied. Cozy gave a small smile and nodded. She stood, and the two of them left together. Twilight watched them go and let out another sigh at last. She saw Spike heading off with Rarity in his arms to leave her in Twilight's room. Twilight knew Rarity. She knew Rarity would understand. Not easily, of course, but more easily than Rainbow Dash. That thought calmed her a little, and she steadied herself to go cancel her meeting for the day.